What's up, it's Cinema Shogun here, and don't worry, I'm not quitting YouTube. This is not my early retirement announcement. This is not one of those types of videos. I simply wanted to make a video discussing the future of my channel, or more accurately, discussing the current state of my channel. Because you see, my channel, I have made it all about the news, or all about the topic that I'm covering at the time. That's why you don't see my face plastered in every thumbnail. That's why I don't do 8-hour live streams so you all could look at my face for 7.5 hours straight after me going over 10 minutes of news. But you see, I believe in this day and age, a lot of people crave a more personal experience with the creators they watch, and I understand that. And I want to work on having more personal experiences with my audience in the future. As of right now, I would suggest that everyone, even if you don't have Twitter, download it, follow me there, because that's a way you could really interact with me throughout the day on a daily basis. But I don't really get to address my audience that often. I'm always talking about a certain topic, and I never really get to just have a sit down and talk with you all. But the other day I got a comment, and don't get me wrong, the comment didn't bother me. That's not what this is about. But I got a comment basically saying, hey, why are you kind of shoving all of this like celebrity news and stuff on us? We're here because we want to hear about real news topics. Like they want to hear about East Palestine, or what's going on in the world with World War III on the horizon, and more serious topics. And the guy was wondering, why are we all of a sudden seeing all of these topics about celebrities and pop culture? Well, you see, pop culture is what actually brought me here. Some of you all could probably tell by some of the things I would have in the backgrounds of my videos, or the various shirts and hats I wear. You can tell that I'm a guy that's really big into pop culture. And my channel has always been a mixed bag. Listen, YouTube hates it. YouTube wants to place you in a box where you only make videos and content on a certain type of topic. So if you do celebrity news, you got to only do celebrity news. If you do true crime, you got to only do true crime. If you do this, you got to only do that. And that's the way YouTube kind of learns how to promote your videos. So it hurts my channel when I go from, celebrity news to true crime to world news and various things like that. It hurts my channel. And in some ways it confuses my audience, because I have a really diverse audience here. And when I say that, I mean like I got people here that are really just interested in true crime. I got people here that are really just interested in Britney Spears. I got people here that came here from me talking about UFOs or Astro World and random other topics that all kind of congregate here, and they all kind of want different types of content. And I do my best to give everyone a little bit of everything. Also, I would grow bored from just making things about one topic and one topic only, or one kind of topic and one kind of topic only. So to the people who are maybe new to my channel, I want to clear up the confusion that yes, I just like the news. When you turn on the news, or I don't know how the mainstream media operates these days. I haven't watched it really in years. But when I was younger, when I would put on the news, sometimes they would be talking about war. Sometimes they would be talking about something stupid an actor did. Sometimes they would be talking about this. And that's what I want my channel to be like. I don't want to be boxed in to only having to cover topics in a certain genre. You know what I mean? But I understand that confuses my audience. Now, some people might say, well, this celebrity stuff, it's not really important. It's not important at all. We want important topics. And I understand that there are topics that are way more important than some of the stuff that's going on in pop culture. But I would say that pop culture shaped the world into being in the state that it's in right now. Let me give you some backstory about myself, and some of you all already know this. If you've heard me talk about this before, then bear with me, but a lot of people haven't. I grew up in the day and age of Family Guy and South Park. Me and my friends would go outside and we would play fight and we would make fun of each other, call each other names that you can't even say in 2023. You would get canceled in 2023 for saying some of the jokes and the things that me and my friends used to joke about or call each other back in the day. You know, and I think that's an experience that a lot of us, especially if you're in my age range, you could say you had that experience as well. Well, at some point, I noticed this major shift in the world. And I want to say it was around between like 2008, 9-ish, 10, 11, you know, around that time period. It seemed like the world just started taking a turn for the worse. And when I say the world, I mean like culture and pop culture in general. Everyone all of a sudden grew really sensitive. Everyone felt the need to be like politically correct. Cancel culture came in and people were getting canceled for jokes they made 10 years ago. And the world became a very different place. Young folks these days might not be able to realize that, but as someone who I turned 32 in about a week, or about a week and some change, as someone that grew up in this age range, I was able to experience life at one point that was just vastly different than it is now. And I don't mean necessarily, I'm not necessarily talking about all of the different technologies and stuff, but just how we interacted as people. It just changed completely. And I've always been someone that has a problem with that because, as you all can tell now, this hasn't led us to a good place. So I noticed this weird shift in our culture where no one could be themselves anymore. You couldn't express your true opinions. Everyone was afraid to say this or they were afraid to say that. And it seemed like everyone started to get more divided. I grew up in a predominantly black neighborhood. I went to predominantly black schools. And I was always in a melting pot of kids from different backgrounds and races. And it was weird to me because we all grew up united and we never really thought twice about how you looked or where you came from. But then all of a sudden there was this crazy shift where there was this huge racial divide all of a sudden again. And then there was this huge political divide. And it felt like everyone was getting political. And I was looking for a place to go where things weren't as divided. Where things were kind of like how they always were. And being someone who was always in pop culture, I kind of leaned more into pop culture and getting into the pop culture community with comics and video games and movies and you name it. And I was perfectly comfortable enjoying my hobbies, had a little side business going on, selling comic books and you name it, and I was perfectly fine. And then I noticed that all of this weird stuff that was going on in the world, it was creeping in to my hobbies. It was creeping into pop culture. It was creeping into comics. As someone who used to sell comic books, I used to open up comic books and it would be, you know, battles between superheroes and stories about doing good and right. And then all of a sudden I would open a comic book and it would literally be like, I can't find any other words to explain it, but it turned into like almost, sorry, it's just bringing back all these memories, but like out of nowhere, comic books went from being stories about American heroes saving the world and doing things and being good role models to becoming like sexual deviants. Spider-Man went from fighting Green Goblin to getting poked in the butt by Green Goblin and doing weird stuff. It basically became LGBTQ porn. That's what comic books started becoming. And then movies started pushing all this social propaganda and political propaganda. And slowly but surely, the pop culture world was totally taken over by activists who didn't care about comic books, who didn't care about video games, who didn't care about movies. They wanted to weaponize these comics and movies and these forms of entertainment and use them as vessels to get across their political and social messages. So I watched and watched as pop culture was infiltrated and totally destroyed. Totally destroyed. So I got my start talking about pop culture, talking about movies and things of that nature. Now, the reason why this was allowed to happen, the reason why these activists were able to so easily come in and destroy pop culture, destroy comics and movies and video games and everything, was because no one cared to take it serious. Everyone was with the mentality of, well, let's worry about real news. Pop culture isn't real news. Who cares if all of a sudden activists are now promoting a bunch of weird, wild stuff to kids through these comic books? Who cares? That's not real news. And as someone who did care, as someone who understood the importance of pop culture, I want you all to understand that politics does not shape pop culture. Pop culture shapes politics. The culture shapes politics. So when you look at the world and you look at this country and you don't understand why we are in the state that we are in, you can't blame the politics. You have to blame the culture that shaped the politics. So everyone sat by and acted like none of this stuff mattered. We don't care that they're taking over the cartoons and the movies and the comic books. We don't care that they're destroying pop culture. That's not real news. And now what's happening? Now people are waking up to the fact that, I guess we shouldn't have abandoned pop culture. When you wake up in the morning and you see Blue's Clues riding around in a parade with drag queens, with beavers who have had top surgery, and you're wondering, why are they promoting this stuff to 4-year-olds? It's because y'all said pop culture wasn't important, it's not important news, and you turned your back and you turned a blind eye as these weirdos and these activists totally destroyed it and weaponized it against you and your kids. So I've always understood the importance of pop culture. That is what has led me here. Mind you, like I said, I was perfectly fine being in my pop culture world, not worrying about politics, not weighing in on what's going on in the world. Y'all can have that. I got what I got going on, whatever. But then it was infiltrated and destroyed, and then I started realizing the importance of having my voice heard. And when I say my voice, I'm not saying I'm more important than anyone else. I just mean that I understood the importance of having a sane, rational voice heard in this world full of craziness. So I started speaking out. I was the person that I'm the live and let live guy. You do what you want, I'm going to do what I want. If it doesn't affect me, okay. But then I had to realize that the stuff is affecting me. And I had to realize that most people are rational people like me. We don't feel the need to weigh in on every opinion online. We don't feel the need to weigh in on every scenario. We form our own opinions in our mind about it and we go about our life, whatever. I get it. There's nothing wrong with that. But that's what led us here. I began to understand the importance of being heard and speaking out. Because what is happening is we have these crazy, wild people. They are the loudest. They are the loudest of all. And when rational people aren't speaking out, the loudest, most irrational people are the ones that are going to be heard. And closed mouths don't get fed. So the people who are being heard are the ones who are steering our world and our society in the direction that it's being led in. So the crazies were in control of the insane asylum. They were the ones steering us in all of these wild directions, and everyone's looking around. Why? Why is this happening? Because y'all were too scared to speak, and y'all thought, hey, it's not important. So, I could go on all day about that. I will make a separate video about that. But that's why I always understood the importance of pop culture, and that's what really inspired me to start speaking out about some of the stuff that's going on. So, I understand from the outside looking in, it may seem to you like, oh, the stuff that's going on in the world with World War III, the wars, and what's going on in East Palestine, government cover-ups. This is more important than what's going on in celebrities' lives and stuff like that. But in reality, you have to understand that if you don't allow your voice to be heard, or if there is not a voice of reason in the equation, these celebrities have a lot of pull over young people. They sway our society and our culture all the time. So when you have, for example, when you have people with millions of views, millions of subscribers, or even smaller, 1 million subscribers and hundreds of thousands of views, when you have these people speaking out, telling little girls and grown women that it's powerful, it's empowering, when Britney Spears has manic mental breakdown episodes and she spins around butt naked on Instagram. You have to understand that the most prominent voices out here in our culture and in our society are saying, hey, this is good. Y'all should do this too, ladies. If you're dealing with something, if you're dealing with mental health issues, be like Britney. Spiral out of control, attack your kids online, and post naked photos, and make a complete jackass out of yourself. That's why it's important for people like me to speak up, to be the very opposite of that. Because we all know that's wrong, right? Yet society, the loudest, craziest voices, this is what they are telling society is okay. And they are the ones that are shaping culture, and they are shaping society. So it's important to weigh in on things like this, to weigh in on what's going on in pop culture, because if you don't, little girls everywhere are encouraged to act like Britney Spears. Grown women everywhere with mental health issues are encouraged to stay off your meds and to spiral out of control in your living room while posting manic videos of yourself acting crazy and shaking your tits. But listen, I know that I have already been ranting long enough already. Maybe in the future I'll make another video going over the importance of pop culture and providing more examples to better show you all where I'm coming from as far as that situation goes. But all in all, I really say all of this to say that the main goal of this channel is to be a voice of reason and ration and common sense in a world that has gone completely off its rockers. But more importantly, the goal of this channel is to be a voice for the common people, to be a voice for the everyday man and woman, to show that us common people, us everyday people, we still have a voice in this society. We still have a say-so as to where our society goes, as to what direction our world goes in. I am nothing but a normal guy, equipped with common sense and a camera phone, reporting to you all from a spare bedroom. Yet I am capable of making waves. I am challenging the establishment. I am challenging these big creators with their fancy studios and microphones, and these government shills who really are getting paid off to express fake opinions online to further sway our society and to further drag us down the drain. I am here to show that us regular folks, We still got something to say, and I got plenty more to say on this channel. So I would like to thank all of you all for every single ounce and drop of support that you all have ever shown me. This journey is just getting started. I look forward to seeing where we go from here, but just know that you will always expect me to weigh in on the various topics of various different things going on in today's world, because that is needed and that is very important. Let me know your thoughts though down in the comments below. While you're down there, hit the thumbs up, hit the subscribe, ring that notification bell, and I will talk to you all in the next video.